First, I would like to welcome our new patron, Pat F. Thank you for providing your support, it means a lot. Now onto the topic. So you're making a game. You have a bunch of prototypes that help to define your direction, you know your vision, you have defined the core pillars, you've built your core set of loops, and you have a good understanding of the fantasy surrounding all that. Your creative direction is pretty much set, right? Well, yeah, but there's one other important thing that I have not mentioned before. Why would somebody choose to buy your game? Here is a sad truth that everyone eventually gets to understand. It is not enough to just create what you want. You need to have a desire to create something that somebody is going to buy. Because ultimately, unless you're doing it as a hobby with no professional goals, your game needs to make money. Even if you're a solo indie dev, you still have your time and your savings, both of which you spend, and you need to regain that in the form of enough people buying and playing your game. Now, every game design school will tell you that you need to find a hook or USP, unique selling point. Is it fighting with a bow against robot dinosaurs? Participating in a pulp action blockbuster adventure? Trekking over the American continent to make important deliveries? You need to figure out what will make your game stand out from the rest of the pack, especially from other similar titles. But there's one thing that at the moment is not being taught consistently enough to become widespread knowledge. The hook is far from the only thing that matters. Even if you have a really good USP, that's not a guarantee of any sort of success. So what is then? Well, if we boil it down to just a single thing, it's luck. Really. Every released game is essentially a roll of dice that can either stick the landing incredibly or fail completely. People love using examples of games like Angry Birds, absolutely forgetting that before finding such big success, Rovio has released 51 games. And let me tell you, whenever you ask anyone about their hugely successful title, it is always a surprise that they didn't expect. So it all comes down to chance, managing to create the right game at the right time for the right audience. However, what this also means is that you can take different steps to increase your chances and push the odds in your favor. The first one is the hook, obviously, it is going to be really difficult without it. The second one is building a community. You need to make sure that you are followed by people who would be potentially interested in your game. During development, find them, engage with them, share your progress, make sure that they're active participants. These people will eventually become somebody telling the ones outside of the community circle how awesome your game is. Don't leave this part to the last moment, start as soon as possible so you would have enough time. This will eventually transform into marketing a game to the whole wide world, though that is a different topic entirely. The third step is research. Talk to other developers, keep checking the news to see what games are coming out, and then see if you have any direct competition or overlap with other similar titles. The results of research might make you modify your plans, sometimes even several core aspects of your game, which can be a necessary step. At any rate, it is important to find the most opportune time for your game release. And the final step is trust yourself and your team. Look, the imposter syndrome is a sadly widespread thing in our industry. Not only that, a lot of people always have the potential of failure looming somewhere in the back of their minds. Especially when the game is not coming together as you want it, and here's the thing, projects never do that. Pretty much development of every game is a string of little successes among many failures, and you filter everything and then sculpt your work into something that is actually good. But throughout development, most of the time you don't see something good, you see something that has the potential to be. Don't let that nature of game development discourage you. Trust yourself, trust your team. And this is probably the most important advice I can give, which applies to absolutely everyone, from solo indie devs to people working on massive AAA projects. Don't let the worst possible thoughts take over you. Thank you all for watching. In my next Patreon newsletter, I will post a bunch of material that may help you finding your hook, marketing your game, and building a community. If you'd like to check that out, consider supporting my campaign at patreon.com/farlands. And thank you to everyone who already does. And in the next video we will talk about concept briefs, the first type of document that is formed for a game where all the aspects that we have discussed in previous videos are going to be gathered together. Until then, like, subscribe, and click on the bell button to know when it is coming out. I'll see you next time.